All right, joining us now for his first TV interview since his debate with John Fetterman last night, Republican Senate candidate from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz is with us. I think it would be inappropriate to ask you, I know you're a medical doctor, to talk about John Fetterman's condition. I won't ask you about that. But I will ask you this. There has been a great lie here, a great deception here. And it was interesting to read the comments of so many Democrats. Why couldn't you just hide him for 2 more weeks? Why did you have to let him go out on the debate stage? And it was so apparent to everybody that it was far worse than what they were telling the people of Pennsylvania. That argument to me is, we can lie to win, and lying is justified under those circumstances. That bothers me because they're lying to the voters.
Well, I'll tell you, their game plan was to run the clock out. And I have been chasing down John Fetterman since the general election started. To date, he has never answered a question from a voter on the campaign trail, hasn't answered a press gaggle, a group of reporters on the campaign trail. He never obviously talked to me before. I met him for the first time last night. And all I wanted to do was have him defend what I think are these eccentric and extremist ideas that would hurt Pennsylvanians. They're certainly out of touch with Pennsylvania values. And he has not been able to defend his dangerous policies. So last night, I just put him out there. Why is it that you seem to care more about the criminals than the innocent? You asked for at least 25 times to free murderers over the objections of other parole board members and the families. He couldn't answer that. Today, I did a big event for the Fraternal Order of Police. They're just asking, let us do our job. They've all endorsed me, by the way, because Fetterman has undermined them so terribly in his current job. I asked questions about why he wants to decriminalize drugs when we know that effort has led to a 50% increase in homicides. Couldn't answer it. Why does he want to increase taxes so much in every job he's ever had, yet he hasn't paid his own 67 times? Won't answer it. And you showed the example of fracking where he literally flip-flopped backwards. And I have to say, his answers seemed almost lazy, like he didn't think he had to answer for things that he's tweeted out in the past. But here's the part, Sean, that's going to shock you. It is upsetting that there does seem to be a duplicitous effort to hide his inability to defend his extreme positions. But he raised $2 million yesterday after the debate from Democratic donors who just want to support him becoming the 51st senator. They know he can't perform because he can't answer these questions about his eccentric positions, but they want to give him the money to get him to win anyway. So please go to DrOz.com. Get me enough money to compete with this guy. It makes no sense that if you're unable to defend your positions, and I'm not talking about the physical stuff, I'm talking about literally telling us why you've said things in the past that today you now are disowning but don't acknowledge it, why would you reward that with paying $2 million of donations to somebody? Go to DrOz.com and even the kiddies, so at least I can get the truth out about John Fetterman more than he lies about me.
He's the single most pro-convicted murderer candidate that I've ever seen, and I started in radio in 1987. I mean, I've never, ever heard of a candidate that advocated for the release of more convicted murderers in my lifetime and other serious crimes. Anyone wants to open up release a third of prisoners in the state of Pennsylvania. And he has no restrictions on abortion. And yes, many times he has said he wants a moratorium on fracking, no oil leases. Yes, he wants taxpayers to pay for heroin injection sites. Yes, he does want Pennsylvania to be a sanctuary state. None of that came out. Literally, voting has gone on in Pennsylvania for almost a month now. And we've never had a single tough interview with John Fetterman. We got close with Dasha Barnes, I believe her name is, and she was excoriated for observing the truth and telling the truth about what she saw in John Fetterman. My question to you is, do you think the people of Pennsylvania now understand, forgetting the health issues aside, how radical he is?
Oh, they're getting the message, which is why we are tied, completely tied now as we head into the last 13 days, which is why, please, again, go to DrOz.com and chip in so we can continue to fight this war. But we're going to win this election because of what you just asked. As voters learn more and more about Fetterman's radical positions, and last night they saw that he was unable to defend them, they begin to throw their hands up and say, this guy's not like us. He's out of touch with us. Listen, I'm a heart surgeon, as you know. We fix big problems, the heart. And we do it by working together, by uniting people, not dividing them. What John Fetterman does is take extremism to Washington. He can't work with people. He won't get things done. I want balance. Because with balance, you bring people together. Yeah, you get Democrats, Republicans talking, but instead of bickering, which is what Pennsylvania wants, they want us to fix the problems that are plaguing them, the kitchen
there's
table
one problem,
issues
too, though.
that are hurting them.
The media is complicit. The media now has allowed this race to come down to 14 days before the election. Early voting had already started. And all these issues, we've been scrolling his radical positions. They've never, ever dug in and demanded answers. And you've been out there every day, and you've had to answer every question every day on the campaign trail. And he hasn't answered a single question. And the media is complicit. That is their big donation to all things Democratic Party.
I think this is about integrity. You should be able to at least own the decisions and comments you've made in the past and defend them to the voters. If you're not willing to do it, and John Fetterman was not willing to do it last night, you don't deserve their votes. And I heard that, Sean, over and over again today from independent voters who actually were trying to decide, and they are now leaning our way in a big way. We're going to win this election.